What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Joel Friday TV podcast. I am Joel Friday. Bienvenido. Welcome to the show. Amazing stuff. It is Thursday, my last day here for the week. And then we're back on Monday. But we got a good show for you coming up here. Do me a favor before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down on like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we can get the subscribers up and a message out. Do it now. You still have time. Amazing stuff. Topics to be covered. So, I told you guys yesterday, if the Lord was willing, we were going to get into the fear of God. So we're going to get into the fear of God because I wanted to play this clip, but I wanted to make sure I got to the calls. Priority. So I did that. But now today we're going to talk about the fear of God, but it's also World Down Syndrome Day, I think. So I'm pretty sure it is. So I have some clips to play about that. And that should be interesting. So we'll see how the flow of the show goes. But we have a couple things we want to cover. We have a couple clips we want to play and some different things. So we shall see. It is a talk show. As you know, you can call in at any point during the live broadcast at 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we could talk about whatever you want. Amazing stuff. If for whatever reason you cannot call in, you can go to Buy Me a Coffee, but you still have a question or comment, or you want to support the show. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/Joel Friday TV. Link is in the description, and there you can send your question or comment, or go directly to the super chat button in the YouTube chat here, and you can send your question or comment there as well. Right? Or just support the show, and I'll read them live on air. Amazing stuff. We also have different ways you can support the show, like allmylinks.com/Joel Friday, which within that, there is Cash App, there is Streamlabs, there is all those other things. So, whatever is convenient for you. Shout out to the mod squad in the chat. What's up, chat? How you guys doing? How you feeling? What's up, Chris? Yeah. I don't see all my mods up in here yet. But that's all good. What's going on, chat? What's up, Ivana? I see Ivana in the chat. Matthew, what's up? Shout out to Matthew. Hey, Matthew. Jessica. Hey, Jessica. Jessica, my fellow ginger, freckled human being. Hey, Jessica. I think that's the Jessica I'm talking about. Gray Bridgewater out the gate with a super chat says, we need that Waiting on God featuring Joel Friday. That's right. I got to get a verse. On there. Amazing stuff. Oh, yeah. Cool. So Zenny had brought up something. Zenny is one of the moderators for the Joel Friday TV podcast. And Zenny had brought up, what does the fear of God mean? I don't think he said it like that. I think he said, what about the fear of God? Something with the fear of God. And I wanted to get into that, but I don't see him in the chat. And it's kind of the whole reason why I wanted to bring that up, because he made an interesting point about it. But he ain't even here. So before I get to the Kanye thing, I think I want to get to this World Down Syndrome Day thing. Just briefly, touch on it. And then we'll go crazy on the Kanye thing. Right? Let everyone kind of round up in the chat still. But I was Nick, the American Anchor Baby, had covered something regarding Down syndrome. I think I did too at one point. But Nick had played some clips of like some people, and I thought it was so interesting because and I had a caller that called into my show now that I'm remembering, and he had a couple of kids that had Down syndrome, I believe, or I think one of them had Down syndrome, something like that. And he was talking about like how they function and where it comes from and how it, it has to do with a medical issue in the brain. And my take was that a lot of things, and I'm not a medical professional, but my take is a lot of things tend to be spiritual and they manifest themselves into the physical. And I'm not saying that that's what happens to Down syndrome type of people, but my point I was also making is that the way we raise people with special needs can be problematic to their life, to make them turn them more into a victim and infantilize them. Nick gave me that word. Infantilize them. And it's so true because you weaken their spirit, special needs or not. You don't want to baby them. So I want to give you guys a couple examples. Okay? I wanted to give you guys a couple examples. Because Elijah says, Joel, does affirmative action work to be a mod? Make me a mod, Joel. If you're black, you're a mod automatically. No, I don't know. It just gotta be the vibe. It just gotta be the vibe. I just kind of gotta get the vibe that it makes sense. You know what I mean? And it's no like diss to anybody else who's not a mod, meaning like, it's not like a diss, but I just don't see I can't just make everybody a mod. What the? But I like modding people up though. If it makes sense, I like modding people up because also the mods, I see their comments a lot quicker than everybody else's because they have the blue wrench. So, yeah. I'm in favor of modding people. But are you trustworthy? Can you hold it down in the chat? I had to unmod some people too because they don't even ever come and watch the show. So I've unmodded people as well. So, and people have lives. I don't expect people just to be all up in my chat at all times. I understand. So it's not like a personal thing. People got lives and families and stuff like that. So I understand not everybody can be in the chat at all times. But anyway. I got a clip I want to play. So World Down Syndrome Day is today, March 21st. I don't know if this is an annual thing or if this is just this year. I've never heard of it before besides today. And I want to kind of get into that. So I'm going to play a clip. Both of these clips are from Instagram. And one of them is a young boy and one of them is a young girl. And they both seemingly have Down syndrome because they have the Down syndrome look. But I want to show you what the difference between two different upbringings of a individual with Down syndrome. So let me play the first one and we'll go from there.
Hey, Zach.
What?
You want to get some pizza today?
Yes.
And then after pizza, you want to go to Target?
Yes.
And then you want to get some CDs at Target?
Yeah.
And Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
And then after that, you want to come home and build a fort?
Yeah.
And then play some video games?
Yeah.
Mario?
Yeah.
And then after that, you want some ice cream?
Yeah.
And after that, you want to relax and have the iPad?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first clip. Now, mind you, like I said, I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know the scale of what a person who has more Down syndrome to a person who has less, or even if that scale exists. But I'm still gonna speak on it because I still believe it to be true. Is that all this pizza? For one, like the way he's kind of like talking to him, is like talking down a little bit, and like the pizza, the Target, the ice cream, and the forts. You know what I mean? Like it's just like overly childish behavior. Now I don't know how old this kid is, but it's like very childish things. Video games, pizza, da da da. Like these are the things that this kid celebrates, and I don't know, that language to me just seems kind of weird. And I never thought about it to be wrong or anything until like I seen a different example. I had something to compare it to. And then I started to think, oh, wow, that's crazy. It depends on how you raise the person, right? It's because of this idea of them being special needs makes it feels like we have the right to treat them as babies. And I just think that that's like the wrong approach because they want to be normal and they know something's wrong, but they don't know what's wrong, really, right? But they should be told what's wrong and they should be treated normally. And if they have to work harder, then you allow them to work harder because they'll appreciate that a lot more than being catered to, right? So I'm going to play a second clip. Listen. This is from TikTok. I think, yeah, they're both from TikTok. This is from TikTok. This is a girl, and she also has Down syndrome. But the title of TikTok, the mom calls it Up syndrome because the way she acts. So let's play this one.
Get your daughter, like for real, I'm not playing. Get your daughter.
What the hell happened now?
She in my room, no reason.
Oh,
Tell her to get out. She's in my room.
That's both of y'all
No, it's not.
room. Yes, it is.
Who paid for it? You? Oh, okay then. So tell her to get out of my room.
Girl, that's your sister.
She's not my sister. She's my fake sister.
How is she your fake sister?
I tried to call my friend, and she just messed it up. I said, and that's April. I said, none of your business. But it's tell her to get out of the Mom, ain't no bigger deal. No bigger deal.
So why are you
Just tell
making
her
it?
to get out.
If it's not a big deal, why are you making it a big deal then?
Because she in my room. I talked to my friends, and she just messed it up. Get your daughter.
How normal is she behaving? How normal is she behaving? Right? How normal is that? That's so, and she's fighting with her sister like a normal young little teenage girl, fighting with her sister. Her sister's teasing her. She's teasing her sisters. If you watch their TikTok, she's all into that. She knows all the Gen Z terms. She says cap. And she says, she called her sister a snitch. And she always like trying to fight, but like jokingly, right? And it's so like normal behavior, right? But if you pay attention to the mom's not talking to her in this up talk or down talk, whatever they call it, to where like she's like making her seem less than. Her mom's talking like, oh, that's your sister. Go love your sister. Why are you making a big deal? You know what I mean? She's talking to her normally. And that's why she has a normal, in my opinion, right? I don't know their lives. I don't know their what they got going on. But to me, that's why it seems that she's able to be normal and act normal. And she may have her little deficiencies here and there when dealing with other people at school. But yet she's in there like she dances on the TikTok. She does all this kind of stuff. Like a normal functioning person. But she has a Down syndrome look. So I just think that we got to be careful, period. And to the world Down syndrome people, there's a commercial that James sent me. I should have brought that one too, because there's movies of people who, like, there's these actors who have Down syndrome, and they seem pretty smart too. And I'm like, and then in the video, she kept another Down syndrome girl in the video. She kept saying like, "You think that I can't dance? Well, let me show you." And she starts dancing. "You think that I can't act? You think that I can't go to school? You think that I can't do that thing? Well, I'm tired of you thinking that I can't do this stuff. I'm gonna show you that I can." So it's this whole video, right? I don't know why I didn't grab that video. What the? And this whole video of her doing all the things that the world says she can't. That's how most, if not all, Down syndrome people feel within. They just want to be treated normal, like a normal human being. And they want to have friends, and they want to have a little sister that they pick on. And they want to be treated like normal people. So we got it all jacked up. The world got it all jacked up. Am I wrong? Where am I wrong? You know what I mean? So Matthew said, "Joel, come on, man. That mama, thrilling it up on TikTok." That could be true, but that's besides the point. And yeah, there's things that I don't necessarily agree with the way that she goes about it, but the point is that she's a normal teen. And she may have other issues, right? She's a normal teen. And I understand why the mom says the up syndrome thing, why she put it as up syndrome, because her daughter don't behave like the other ones. And the other ones, they make them look silly. And I didn't know that you can have Down syndrome and not look silly or act silly. I didn't know you can do that. I didn't know it was possible. I thought that was just how they were. Until you see somebody that's not acting silly. You're like, wow, they don't have to be silly. It's because they're treated that way. They're treated silly, and so they act silly. So I'm going to just play the boy, and I'm not trying to put nobody down. I ain't trying to compare the two in a negative sense, like to put the other little boy down. But it's just to bring some insight to the situation. I'm going to play the boy one more time so you guys can just see the difference.
Hey, Zach.
What?
You want to get some pizza today? Yes. And then after pizza, you want to go to Target?
Yes.
And then you want to get some CDs at Target?
Yeah.
And Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
And then after that, you want to come home and build a fort?
Yeah.
And then play some video games?
Yeah.
Mario?
Yeah.
And then after that, you want some ice cream?
Yeah.
And after that, you want to relax and have the iPad?
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. And people say he has pure joy. And that could be true too. That could be true too. But realistically, there's issues that are not being seen. There's issues that are not being seen. And it doesn't mean that he can't have pure moments. But I don't even know if I believe the pure joy thing either, right? Because everybody wants to say that to people in a wheelchair or people with disabilities. They always want to put that on people. They seem so happy for, and they may not say this directly, but the attitude seems like they seem so happy for a person being in a wheelchair. They seem so happy for a person with a disability. They seem so happy to be a person with Down syndrome. But because YouTube, I gotta watch my word on YouTube. But if a person without Down syndrome was said those same things. Just imagine a kid his age, let's just say a teenager in high school, said those same things. Pete said, yeah, did it, yeah. How would you guys look at it? Would you say pure joy? You wouldn't say pure joy. You'd be like, okay, that's an immature teenager. You wouldn't call it pure joy. But people cast that on people with special needs. Oh, they look so happy, pure joy. I feel like that's like a imposing your false version or your false insight, your false perspective on what's really going on. That's just my opinion. But anyway, has anybody seen Zenny? Zenny, you about to miss it, so that's your fault. But that's all I want to say about the World Down Syndrome Day. Shout out to the people who, I mean, everybody's doing their best, right? Everyone's doing their best, and everyone's only doing what they know how to do. So you can't fault the parents and the caretakers of these people with disabilities or special needs. You can't fault them because everybody's doing the best that they can. But, you know, I respect the mothers, and I don't know much about what goes on in her home, but I respect her for even changing the thing to Up syndrome and making it a positive thing, right? I respect that. So shout out to Up syndrome TikTok. Cecil says Zenny was in the chat during GLP, I think. Yeah, I thought I saw Zenny. That's okay. Maybe he had to go to work or something. But if you catch him, next time you guys see Zenny, if he doesn't hop in the chat, let him know that we talked about the fear of God and he should go check it out. So let's get into that. And then I'll get to some calls. 888-775-3773. There are the lines open there. You can't get to those. Oh, I forgot I did have some super chats as well. So I wanna read those. You just blew my mind. Amazing. Garrett's Badadona said you just blew my mind. Amazing, but I think he was referring to a few episodes ago. This was not from today. And I forgot what the episode was. But I appreciate it, Garrett. Right on. Renesio says, Joel, I think coffee is better than calling in, sending a coffee or buying a donut, right? But men can't be still. Men built roads so women can walk on. Malls so they can shop. Women meant to be cherished. That sounds misogynist. You can't say that, Renesio, or they're going to call you a misogynist. That's misogyny words. And you want to care what people think. I appreciate it, Renesio. Right on. Alex with a few donuts says, thank you, Joel. Most environmental activists know nothing about ecology of their own backyards, yet they impose their dogma on their neighbors and the world, referring to imposing religion on others, the topic from yesterday's show. The same for those who wish to bring peace or freedom to other nations. The same for most who wish to save souls. They see their potential failure only as failure of the world. The answer is not outside but within. I agree. Everybody's trying to impose their beliefs on everybody else, and nobody's just letting people live. Live their life. It ain't your business. And until they infringe on your business, then you speak up. That's just my opinion. When they infringe on you, then you can correct. Or not spare the rod. Not refrain from the rod, right? But mind your business. Get yourself right. You know what I'm saying? I had one person tell me, because I was like trying to like correct them all the time. This is a long time ago. And I was telling them like, you got to do this, you got to do this. And they would say like, I don't care. And I'm like, well, then I can't help you. And then they said, well, help yourself. And I was like, I had nothing to say after that. It's so true. Why I'm sitting up here worrying about somebody else when I need to be focused on myself? Focus on yourself, your family, the people around you. Or really just focus on yourself. And the people around you will see that and want the same things you want, right? And then in those moments you can like speak up and all that stuff. But just focus on yourself. Anyway. Court Green says, how you gonna hate a woman? Terry says, thank you, men, for opening my jars and racing things I can't. Yes, Terry. How would you open a pickle jar if it wasn't for a man? Answer me that. Answer me that, Terry. Because you can't open the pickle jar without a man. Amazing stuff. Terry says she has special needs. I knew it, Terry. I knew it. No, I'm just playing. Okay, anyway. Moving on. What does it mean to have the fear of God? What does the fear of God mean? Kanye, as you know, we've been talking about it past couple days. JLP, myself. It's been talked about. Kanye's, when I had an interview, and I love the fact that everybody is like talking about Kanye's interview. Isn't that so? Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody can disagree or agree, but everybody's still talking about him. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of influence he has over the world, which is not a bad thing. He's a great topic. And I respect that. But, yeah, he had a thing on the fear of God, and he was talking about how, like, why should we fear God? And I have a clip that I'm going to play, but I think that I got a caller real quick that I want to take regarding, I don't know. We'll see what they want to talk about. Uh-oh, looks like a familiar name. Let me go to Terry out of Oregon. Terry, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Joelle.
How's it going, Terry?
Oh, I didn't want to type all this out because you asked me a question about opening a pickle jar without a man.
Right. Can you do it?
It's a mess, Joelle. You know what I have to do?
What is that?
I have to take like a butter knife and smack the lid until it pops. And I smack around the corner and dent, and it has to like get dented. And that's how I get it off.
That works?
It works.
What?
So yeah, you just keep hitting it a couple of times around the edges and you kind of dent it, and then the lid will pop up, and then you can open it easily.
How'd you learn?
But then how did I learn?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I got it from another like weak woman.
See, you need that man's strength.
I know, it's a mess.
Are you, I don't know if you mind answering, but are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Oh,
I have
okay,
to Yeah, I don't even buy pickles anymore.
You just gave up?
I don't know. I probably could, I might buy them if I'm in the mood for them, but
Right.
yeah, I do have to do that. It's kind of a mess, and then the jar's all, the lid's
Yeah.
not nice anymore.
I'm dying. Let me ask if you. Oh, go ahead.
So it still secures it. Like you can still put it on and tighten it, but yeah.
I wanted to ask that I don't know if this is the same, and I'm not saying it's the same, Terry from the chat, but do you listen to Jesse's show or my
Yeah.
show? Oh, okay. And the Hake Report and Nick show?
Yeah.
Do you agree with the like the message of bond in general about the order of God and, man over woman, woman over children, that kind of thing? Marriage and children and family and all those things?
Yeah, I think in the context of a family, that's the best thing to align oneself with. I don't think it's always possible, due to certain circumstances, but I do think that that's the correct order. And I think when that order is not there, there's suffering in the family.
Nice. And do you think, what about as far as because I know everybody has a different perspective on this, but as far as like when it comes to a husband and a wife and the obedience thing, that's like a big conversation and everybody kind of has their own take on it. As far as that goes, do you agree that the woman is supposed to just automatically listen to the man, or does she have her own voice, or what's your belief?
I think I prefer the term submit to obey. Because obey just kind of reminds me of a dog or something.
Right.
And I think submission is more like the natural order. But I understand that, and I think it makes sense. And this is about what is ideal.
Yeah.
So I think that's ideal. But again, there's certain women I know who are married to men that they can't obey him,
Right. Right. And because
he's not
because the man. So do you think that a woman should still submit to the husband even if he's beta?
Yeah, I think beta is the way I see beta is maybe different than how some people talk about it. I think alpha is more about leadership qualities that a man has. So, but I think a lot of women can submit to a beta male, in certain circumstances in a marriage. Yeah. But there was a caller today with JLP, and I was making fun of him in the chat because his life was out of control. And I was like, well, you married a woman who's more alpha than you. Yeah. So what do you expect? You can't expect her to be under your foot. So I think that, I don't think they were equally yoked as well. It's, if a man and woman are equally yoked, then, ideally, that's the situation. He's going to be able to lead her. And a woman's going to naturally submit.
I agree with that. Let me ask you one last question.
Submission is natural,
I agree. And it shouldn't be based off of a rule or a traditional standard that when I get married, I have to submit. It should be more so coming naturally from you, or else it's going to feel like work, or else there's gonna be that friction, and it has to be natural. So I agree. Let me ask you one more last question, if you don't mind. Is, say if you're at the mall and you have a boyfriend, and your husband. Let's just say you get married and you have a husband. You're at the mall, and then you're in the store, and you're not necessarily standing next to your husband, but a man walks up to you because he sees that you're attractive and he wants to say hi to you or whatever. And you're just entertaining the man. You're not necessarily flirting, but you're just kind of entertaining him. And your husband sees it and screams, not screams, but kind of raises his voice across the store and says, "Hey, Terry, get over here. Don't talk to that man." And how would you respond to that? Do you just go to him and say "Oh, sorry, husband," or do you be like, "Don't talk to me like that"? What would Terry do?
I'd probably, I'd go over to him and then later we'd have a conversation about like, you know, not embarrassing me in public,
Ah, and
you know.
and
Or maybe I would have preferred if he would just come up to me, you know, and get me out of that situation than call
interesting.
me over to him, you
So,
know, because it can be awkward when men come
yeah.
up to you. You don't always know the right way to get out of that situation. And I feel like I would feel more protected if he came up and kind of like guided me away.
Okay. But if it were the other way around, you would go up to him and but you would talk about it later. I respect that.
Yeah, we'd fight about it later.
Right, right, right. And would you do you think that it's disrespectful for a lady to entertain a guy who's doing those type of things?
I mean, what do you mean entertain? This
Meaning
is just
like,
some guy approaching you out of nowhere.
right.
And like sometimes some people are just talkative and friendly like that,
Okay.
you know, and they don't have anyone to talk to. So they see you in public and you seem friendly. So they say hi. It's not always, it doesn't mean he's hitting on you. If he goes past a certain point and you continue to talk to him, then yeah, it does get disrespectful. But I don't think like having fun banter with someone is disrespectful.
I agree. And do you think that in the case of, say, if like he's walking up, but he has this like agenda, right? Because he finds you attractive and he doesn't know that you're married. So he's like, you know, being flirty and fun, but you're not flirting back. And you actually probably maybe don't, let's just say you don't want to talk to him, but by being nice, you're still like entertaining it and just like ignoring him, but still staying there. Do you think that that's disrespectful to the husband?
If he's like being overtly flirty, yeah, I think it could be seen as disrespectful.
But what about if the lady but she wasn't really into it, but she's just being nice?
I don't think that's nice.
Huh. Interesting.
I mean, you know what I mean? I don't think that's nice to, entertain too much of that. I mean, sometimes you can't help it because guys just, I get it every time I go out. Like some guys like, hollering at me.
Right.
And, you got to deal with it as a woman. So like,
yeah.
I don't entertain it much, but like there's a difference in how men approach you too.
Right.
So sometimes they're just being friendly and sometimes, if a guy is like coming on too strong, I try to get away from him as soon as possible.
Nice. Well, right on, Terry. I appreciate it. I appreciate you calling in too.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
I'll
see you in the chat.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Nice. Yeah, I think that's like a huge thing that's not even talked about enough. And I appreciate Terry calling in, giving her take on it. But, girls get approached all the time, very often. And a lot of the times, and I've heard it said before by multiple ladies too, is that like they'll just entertain it, not because they want to, but because they're being nice. And I understand that approach because you feel like you don't want to be mean or just shut the guy down. But what you're actually doing is that it's worse doing it that way, in my opinion. Because for one, you're thinking the guy, you're making a guy believe that he's doing something good, right? That he got a chance. And for two, if you have a boyfriend, you're disrespecting the boyfriend. There's nothing better. I remember one time I went up to a girl one time, and I approached her, and she said, "No, I'm just not interested." And yeah, the ego in that moment is kind of like hurt, right? But I respected it, even in the moment, right? But after the fact, thinking about it, I respected it because you just cut it. Like, there's no room for you to think anything. You just, like, keep it moving then. Nope, it didn't work. Like, it doesn't have to be disrespectful or anything. It doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be rude. Just be like, hey, I'm not interested. You know what I mean? Because no one has time to be, like, wondering and playing these games and wasting people's time and, like, you know what I mean? So Yeah. But don't get it twisted. Some girls pretend they don't like it and pretend they're not interested. And they may not like the guy, but they like the attention. So I see you too, ladies. I see you too. You ain't a victim. I see you too. Amazing stuff. Freddie is down. Ivana says, you just got to bring up your man within the first minute. That's a good one, too. That's a good one, too. She'd be like, oh, yeah, my boyfriend. Yeah, my boyfriend likes this store, too. Yeah, my boyfriend says that all the time. Even though I don't even know why it's getting to that point. But if he's being genuinely friendly, right? The guy's being friendly, right? And it's just like regular small talk. There's nothing, I don't think it's bad to talk to the other sex if you're in a relationship. But you just got to know the boundaries. But it's good to throw a little reminder in there too. Sneak a little, yeah, my boyfriend likes that too. Ha, 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 ha. Right? So that's a good one, Ivana. Chris says, I used to get ticked when dudes who weren't my dad would talk to my mom. Facts. Facts. Or they would try to tell me, give me a compliment to me about my mom. Like, your mom is so pretty. Like, I didn't ask you, who are you? Goodbye. Your name ain't Joel Sr. Bye. Anyway. Facts, Chris. Okay. I feel like we're fitting everything into this 1 hour. We're going to make it work. Let me play this clip, guys. Kanye West, fear of God.
It's like, why should you fear? You know, it's another thing I don't like in Christianity, the fear of God. If God is love, why should you fear him? Because you place one fear, you get another fear, you get another fear. What do you have at that point? You're easily controllable. You're easily sellable. You're easily contracted because you have this fear on you. Like, everybody gonna die eventually, but I'm gonna live my entire life with zero fear. Fear of a contract, fear of perception, fear of getting my black card denied. Fear. I'm not gonna jump in front of a train.
Right.
Be conscious.
Right.
You know, ain't nobody finna tell me call me tell nobody around me play with nobody around me. None of that.
Boom. And I see Zenny in the chat too. He made it just in time. He says, LOL, I'm at work. But people always say, what does it mean to have fear? Like, aren't we supposed to not have fear? Especially Christians. Aren't we supposed to not have fear? Then what does it mean to fear of God? Fear of God in the Bible, fear was not the fear that we identify with today. We define today. Excuse me. Fear in the Bible, in my opinion, is reverence to God. Like recognizing God's authority, but actually knowing that you're under God's authority, right? It's a difference because you don't want to have this fake respect, right? And I'll give you guys an example is that there's been many times in my life to where like, and especially even of recent times, is where I would step out of myself and get arrogant, right? Or I would like think that I'm better or think that I know something that I don't or whatever, right? I would step out of line. And every time that I was judging that person, God would humble me quickly and show me where I was or how I'm no different than them, right? And I would be subject to that same thing that they became subject to, right? And he would allow me to realize that at any moment that I can be just like them. I could do wrong just like they're doing. And what that did was it humbled me. It made me realize that that it's how important it is to understand that everybody is doing the best they can, for one, but for two, that if they knew better, they would do better. And when I'm judging them, I'm doing nobody any good. So because of that, because of those moments that happened in my life, multiple moments, those humbling moments, it made me revere God and understand that and revere his correction and revere that he has the authority and I'm subject to him. And when those type of things happen is when you realize what the fear means. But I'm not afraid of, I'm not like trembling. Like I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like it's not that type of fear. Like I don't look at God the way that false fear of like if I'm about to be attacked by a bear, right? Because that's false fear. That's false fear, thinking that the bear is gonna eat you up and that you're gonna die and all that stuff. Even though David from the Bible was 14-year-old and he was beating up bears, right? But it's like that's a false fear, and I don't have that false fear, and nobody's supposed to have that false fear of God. But that's what the fear in the Bible meant, was like reverence, respect of the upper hand, the authority. Like the same way a child has a respect and reverence for their father, their parents, and especially the father. Same thing. So that's what it's about. It's the heart of it. You know what I mean? C-Sal says moms and burkas should be a thing. That's right. Hey, yeah, my wife better be in a burqa. I don't care if she's not part of that religion. She's gonna be in a burqa. You're not down to be in a burqa, then you ain't down with me. Burqas only. And a burqa gotta be oversized, loose. I don't care if it's summer. I don't get 90 degrees outside. That's not even that hot. 110 degrees. I don't care if we're living in Arizona. Burqa, morning to night. Watch me in like 20 years if I'm doing a podcast. I'm still not married because nobody wanted to. No lady wanted to get down with the burqa lifestyle. That's hilarious. Let me get to a call and then I got to end the show. Rick out of Hampton, Virginia. Rick, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
My brother Joel, what's going on with you?
How's it going, Rick? All is well.
Man, I also want to say, I believe when God wants us to fear him, I believe God wants us to respect him, know that his word is for our best. You know, it's for our best.
Yeah.
You know, and he has our best interest at heart.
Yeah. And we got to know, and you got to truly know that for sure.
Right. You know, because
Yeah.
everybody think, God, well, why God want you to be scared of him? He don't want you shaking in your boots. He just wants you to know that if he wants you to obey his word, I mean, live a holy, righteous life.
Yeah.
You know, and just know that he wants the best for you. Because you look at, if you read the scriptures, anytime God told the Israelites to obey him, it was for their own good, you know?
It was what? You broke up a little bit.
I'm sorry, it was for their own good. Like when God tells us to do something, it's for your own good. It's for the long run.
Yeah.
You know, God, it's the way God can bless you in the long run.
Yeah.
But if you notice Satan, he makes you feel good now, but he can destroy you in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
You know
the
how drugs
deception.
tend to
Yeah.
make people feel good at first,
Yeah.
but yet it's destroying you in the long run. But God, you know, sometimes we may think it's painful when God in the short run, but in the long run, it's for our best interest and it blesses us. I believe that's what it is there, Joel.
Yeah, I agree, Rick. I totally agree. And yeah, knowing that, you got to know that you know that, because you know, a lot of Christians would teach that, but then you try to do it and it's not real, not genuine, and then you burn out. So knowing that you know that is 100%. I appreciate it, Rick. Any last comments before I got to end the show here?
Man, have a good weekend, man, and I'll be listening to y'all guys Sunday.
Right on. Sounds good. Have a good one,
Well,
Rick.
love you guys, man. Y'all be blessed.
All right, you as well. Thanks, Rick. Amazing stuff. I got to end, but like I was saying yesterday, you got to know, you still got to know, like, because everybody was getting on me about arguing with God, and that you shouldn't argue with God. You should just have faith. And that sounds nice, and you should have faith, and that's right. I agree with that. But like, it's okay to have a disagreement, especially if you know at the end of the day that you know that, like, you know, God's way is better. You know that you know, you're just having a moment, but it's okay to have a moment. Have your dang moment. But when you fully reject God and try to say that why should I follow you type of thing, then that's when he, you know, that's when it's getting out of hand, right? But even then, God is still not mad at you for that, because he understands what's going on. So I don't want to repeat myself from yesterday, but I think that's just an important thing, that, you know, people feel that it's bad to express yourself or to be honest in that way or let it come out your mouth. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But I gotta end. Shout out to the chat. We Chew got in the burqa. Somebody, I think Matt had said something about the burqa that I want to. Matthew says, forget that, Joel. I want them girls in yoga pants. Don't play with me. Oh, I have a story I have to tell you guys, but I got to end, about this girl at the gym. Oh, my gosh. It was interesting. But I got to tell you guys next week. I got to end. American Anchor Baby's coming in for his last day of the week at 12 p.m. Pacific time, because he's doing his flight simulation tomorrow at 4 p.m. So make sure you check him out right after me right now, and then check him out tomorrow at 4 p.m., not at 12 p.m. And The Fallen State comes out tomorrow as well. New episode. Make sure you guys check it out with the a white lady that says she's a black lady. So make sure you guys check that out. Amazing stuff. I got to go. Until next time, Joel Friday TV across the board. Follow me. Subscribe. Share. Tell your people about the show so we get the subscribers up and the message out. All right, guys. Until next time. Bye.